Alright. We live in an age where technology plays an important part in our everyday lives. Cell phone use is at an all-time high, with over 2/3 of the world's population, 5 billion people, reportedly having and using a cell phone of some kind, from VentureBee.com. In the United States, approximately 95% of the entire population is reported to have some sort of phone. This is from demographics of mobile device ownership and adoption in the United States. With such an immense number of people around the world using cellular devices, it's hard to imagine that there would be any risk involved with using them. However, cell phones present a few more risks to your health than you might think. Cell phone use can be mentally and physically harmful in a variety of ways. 3 of the most pressing issues caused by cell phone use are its effects on your concentration, its effects on your sleeping pattern, and its potential to cause disease and infertility. Cell phone use has a huge effect on study performance and concentration in students. In 2017, Dr. Seung-Young Lee, an assistant professor of psychology at the University of Arkansas at Monticello, conducted a test which monitored the difference in retention of material between participants who used their cell phones during a presentation and those who did not. Subjects in the experiment were asked to watch a 20-minute presentation about psychology, throughout which they were each sent 4 different text messages. Only some of the volunteers in the experiment were given access to their cell phones. After the presentation was over, the participants were asked to take a multiple-choice test on the content of the psychology presentation. Participants who had access to their cell phones during the presentation scored significantly worse on the test than those who did not have access. To quote Dr. Lee, by reducing attention during class, information is not properly stored, resulting in poor retention of material. Lee clearly sees cell phone use as a distraction in the classroom that draws attention where it shouldn't be. While it's easy to see that cell phones can do just as much damage, can cause problems for people in the classroom, they can do just as much damage anywhere else, even at home. Using your cell phone before you go to sleep can have an extremely adverse effect on your sleeping pattern. An article by Harvard University's Health Publishing states that blue light, one of the wavelengths of light emitted from many phone screens, messes with your body's circadian rhythm. The article says directly that while light of any kind can suppress the secretion of melatonin, blue light at night does so more powerfully. Harvard researchers and their colleagues conducted an experiment comparing the effects of blue light versus green light in a 6.5-hour period of exposure. The blue light suppressed melatonin for about twice as long as the green light and shifted circadian rhythms by twice as much, 3 hours versus 1.5 hours. This means that, while blue light can be beneficial in keeping you awake during the day, it also keeps you awake at night. Harvard Health Publishing suggests that in order to prevent blue light from affecting your sleep, you should avoid looking at screens at least 2 to 3 hours before bedtime. Clearly, cell phone use before bedtime can do some serious damage to your sleep schedule. But some research even shows that cell phones could possibly cause problems like cancer and infertility. Some studies have shown a potential correlation between cell phone usage and many physical ailments. The National Cancer Institute, one of the leading cancer research organizations in the United States, said in their article, Cell Phones and Cancer Risk, that one of the main concerns with cell phones is that they emit radiofrequency radiation, which is known to cause cancer in high exposure. However, many tests regarding this subject have proven inconclusive. The working group classified cell phone use as a possibly carcinogenic to humans, based on limited evidence from human studies, limited evidence from studies of radiofrequency radiation in cancer in rodents, and inconsistent evidence from mechanistic studies. Infertility is another potential issue caused by cell phone use. If you all take a look at the handout that I've given you, you'll see an article called All Men, Cell Phones and Sperm. This article by Harvard Men's Health Watch presents the possibility that the sperm count of some men may be affected by the amount of time they spend on their phones. Through their study, the scientists conducting the experiment were able to determine that there was a steady decline in sperm count in men who use their cell phones more frequently. After hearing all of this, it's not hard to see that cell phone use can do both mental and physical harm to your body in many ways. The 3 largest issues presented by cell phone use are its effect on your concentration, its effects on your sleeping pattern, and its potential to cause disease and infertility. Though some of these side effects may not seem severe or noticeable right now, Only the future will tell what kind of effect they will have on humankind. Whether they turn out to be positive or negative, it's safe to know and understand the potential dangers of cell phone use.
Thank you very much. Let's give a round of applause. Thank you, Eli. And